Hello everyone, today we're going to look at the Lolli's mate. I guess you could pronounce it Lolli, but Lolli sounds nicer somehow. In the position, it's white's turn to move. The Lolli's mate is queen supported by a pawn for checkmate. So it's a very simple checkmate. It occurs more frequently than you would think. And we're going to look at a couple of examples where it was played or was threatened to be played in the game. So the power of checkmates oftentimes is that you don't have to perform them, you just have to threaten to perform them, and then your opponent has to react, and then you can counter. So in this situation, how can we set up a Lolli's mate? We're just going to play through it. It's rook takes check, queen has to take, rook takes check, and then the threat of the Lolli's mate is, let's say that the king takes the rook. Now this bishop supports the queen, check, the only square, and then checkmate. That would be a Lolli's mate. Okay, let's look at another example. Again, we look at them up a move or two before they actually occur so we can see what's happening here. So this one is particularly nasty, I think. So the Lolli's mate, Lolli, that's what I said, right? The Lolli's mate was a threat, and so black moves his queen over to defend so that queen to g7 is no longer checkmate. But then what's a very nice move in this position? Because if queen takes queen, then rook takes rook, and then nothing. There's really nothing there. So what's the fun move in this position? If you found this one was pretty good. But it's just knight to g5. Very, very nasty. The idea is that if black does something random, say that, then it's a simple checkmate in one. And the really nastiness is if queen takes, boom, the knight to f7, and the king is being trapped by the pawn and the knight for checkmate. So that was actually, I'm cheating a little bit, but that's not an example of a Lolli's mate, but the Lolli's mate threat is what made this tactic possible. Because this is where, the rook is guarding, the queen comes in to help, but white was threatening to perform one. Okay, here we go. One more example, and this is actually taken from one of our greatest moves of all time. So if you've seen all of our videos, all of our greatest moves of all time videos, then you may have seen this one. It is black's turn to move. How does he set up a Lolli's mate? Again, if you've seen it, you know he does the very cool rook to b1. Boom. The idea here is that if queen takes, then simply you push the pawn to f3, and Lolli's mate is unstoppable. White could come check and then do a couple of checks here. But once white runs out of checks, this mate is, well, in this case, boom, bam, and knight there. And the Lolli's mate is unstoppable. So pawn, queen, no other pieces that can take the queen, Lolli's mate. So again, these checkmates can be very powerful because you can threaten them even if you don't have to perform them. And if you can perform them, even better. So we've done a couple of these videos. Go check them out over there in this checkmating pattern series. And yeah, like and subscribe. Okay, thanks.